Hey, Terry, are you doing the
Hey.
bird watching?
Yes.
Okay, I have one game about the bird watching. Because I heard you have a special talent that you can identify all kinds of birds by their sounds.
Well, maybe some.
Okay, so can you show us your skill today?
So you want to put me on the spot?
Oh, I don't want, but I just really want to see how it's gonna work.
Okay.
Can we?
Well, let's give it a go.
Okay, let's give it a go. Listen.
Well, that one I think is pretty easy. It sounds like a crane. And in China, you have many crane species. And I think that sounds just like the call of the common crane. And I know that it's a specially protected species also in China.
Wow, that's incredible.
Okay, this one is more difficult. It sounds to me like a heron or an egret. But during the breeding season, they do make a lot of these strange sounds, and this reminds me of a young egret in the nest. So I will guess that it's a little egret.
You're correct. And this is the sound we captured during our filming at the Hengshui Lake, located in the Hengshui city. And Hengshui Lake spans a total area of approximately 120 square kilometers, which is about 11 times the size of West Lake. Imagine that. So in recent years, with continuously improvement of ecological environments, the lake has become a new habitat for many rare species. I know you have been following this for many years. Tell me some story about this.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And the first time I visited Hengshui Lake was more than 10 years ago. And I can remember when I visited, I saw a very different lake then. There were many problems. There were a lot of illegal fishing,
Yes.
There was pollution, a lot of litter. And so to see it now, how much it's changed, it's incredible. Such a dramatic change from when I first visited.
So today, Terry will join us and share the stories behind these miracles of Hengshui Lake. So Terry, in your opinion, what was the very first and the most critical step in this remarkable change?
Well, I think it was a combination of resolve by the local government and the implementation of regulations. So I know there's an old Chinese saying that says something like, you can't accomplish anything without rules.
无规矩不成方圆. That's correct.
Absolutely. And importantly, not just set the rules, they actually enforce them rigorously as well. So this involved things like removing a lot of old fishing nets from the lake, cleaning up the litter, restricting human access to certain areas that are most sensitive for the birds, and also cleaning up the polluting enterprises around the lake. So I think all of these things together help to improve the water quality.
That's true. Just like refilling a swimming pool with fresh water before you inviting your friends to swim, right? And this is the most essential for the first step.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we all know, the waters became clear like day by day. But how did they turn this empty house into a livable home for these birds?
Yeah, so you're right, it's much more than cleaning up the water. But then on top of that, also the local conservationists created different habitats for different bird species, because many birds are really sensitive to human. So if we have people nearby, they'll be scared, they won't nest. So that's super important. So for example, they made some artificial floating islands. So these are really good because they provide safe places for birds to nest. And then also creating different depths of water. Because
Different depths of water.
Yeah, so not all water birds are the same. So the Qingtou Qianya,
Yes.
the Bear's pochard, loves to dive, so it likes quite deep water. But then other birds, like shorebirds, they love to wade in the water, so they need much shallower water.
So these measures are so well targeted. And also I heard that the reed management has also been carried out to protect the rare and endemic reed parrot bill in China.
Yes, yes. And they spend nearly all of their life in the reed beds. They love reed beds. But over time, reed beds, what tends to happen is they'll dry out and you start to get shrubs and trees and they get too thick. And so active management of the reed beds is sometimes needed, thinning out, taking out the bushes and trees that are growing. And all of this has helped the reed parrotbills enormously. So we know from recent studies that the population is now recovering again and increasing, which is fantastic news.
So building artificial islands, regulating water levels, and managing reeds all help to encourage many different bird species to breed or stop over here on migration. So Terry, did you know that as Hengshui Lake has become more beautiful, it has also brought tangible benefits to the lives of local residents? Hengshui Lake attracts over 1 million visitors annually, and more than 100 rural guest houses and homestays emerging in the surrounding areas. And many local villagers become eco-guides. Not only can they identify over 100 bird species, but also they can know their habits. And leading bird watching teams from both China and abroad, this has significantly increased the villagers' annual income.
Absolutely, and this is one of the best things about wildlife conservation. People want to come and see it. They want to see it for themselves. And so attracting all these visitors to come around Hongshui-hu and stay in the local residential places, the hotels, eat in the local restaurants, this is all bringing income to the local community. And I think what it shows is that if we protect nature, nature rewards us.
Yeah,
often
that's true.
Faster, so both the birds can prosper and also the local people can prosper together.
Thank you for sharing, Terry. A healthy ecosystem is the greatest opportunity of all, and we hope that in the future, more friends from around the world can visit China and open this invitation from China, penned by Lucy Water and the lush mountains and delivered on the wings of birds.